Hello everyone, this is Ross from retrodreambeam. I'm an eBay seller full-time. I've been doing this with my fiance Netta for more than 3 years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into what we were shipping out today and Friday, so I just have another different setup. But someone said they like me doing the computer and showing the stuff up close, so this works better for me right now. The ear is slowly healing up. Had another checkup. It was pretty expensive, but it was worth getting it checked up. All right, it's healing though. All right, so first up right here, had a lot of cool sales. I was kind of surprised we had this many. This is probably like the last batch that we'll probably get through from the post office. I don't know. Ours has been pretty quick. I saw ours had a media mail item that shipped in like 3 or 4 days, which is pretty fast, especially around the holidays. All right, first up is going to be this Ryu Street Fighter HeroClix rare card right here. So these are kind of cool with HeroClix. Some of these can be pretty expensive because these were in gravity feeds. They were kind of like more, I guess not more rare, but not as many people bought them. So down here, you can actually see this like silver SF right there. Well, I guess you can't really see it be silver, but that means it's rare. There's also some chase figures. Here's the card that it comes with. So the price you see on the screen right here is just like what I had. We have best offer. We almost take offers and everything. So this ended up going for $5.20 plus shipping. I made a note that I spent $1.50 on this. So I got a small little baggie at an auction. I didn't really look up the particular figures. Like I said, some of these can go for more. And I took a little bit lower offer on this one. They kind of like met me kind of in the middle. So like, that's okay. It's a single figure. Someone's going to appreciate it for the holidays. All right. Next up is going to be this Void 1.1 Battles with Miniatures rulebook. So yeah, this is just going to be a miniature rulebook right here. This might actually, I don't know if this is like a core book. This is probably a core book. So a lot of people read these for the lore right here. You can see there's a lot of stories and stuff. There's all the stats for like the figures. But yeah, this one ended up going for $5.25. I also had another copy, so I went and relisted it when I was at the storage unit. So yeah, nothing too fancy. This one's going international, so nothing too crazy for sales. All right. Next up is going to be this Hordes right here. There's War Machine and Hordes. It's now owned by Steamforged Games. You can use the old War Machine stuff with the new War Machine now, but the Horde stuff, the line is gone. They kind of incorporated a lot of the figures and the spells and stuff into the War Machine version now. So Horde stuff is probably going to maybe be a little bit more over time. We'll see. I got this a bit ago. I already had this listed. This one was weird because you see this right here, this faction Grimkin. This faction, I believe, never got fully fleshed out before the company stopped making War Machine and Horde stuff during the time. So I've sold some of the Grimkin stuff for more expensive. I think there's only like 20 or 40 different Grimkin products for this game. So kind of got like cut short, like I said. This is a particular little imp, so it's just like a solo figure, so it's not too expensive. I had a note that I spent $3.75 on this. I got a bunch of these for like between $3 to $5. I was just having like mini bid wars with someone, but yeah, this one sold for $7.87. I know I said this faction could sell for more, but I have sold some of the other figures. I think it's for like 30 or 40 for this Grimkin one, so it really depends on like what figure it is, how rare it is, and if people want, if it's good for the game. All right. Next up is going to be this American Horror Story. This is going to be one of those loot crate things. Never really got loot crate, but I know people like that kind of stuff. I'll occasionally find this stuff relatively cheap, and I'm like, oh, people like collecting it. I have sold like the most expensive loot crate thing I found. I think it was at like a Goodwill. It was a random like pencil sharpener, and I like picked it up. I'm like, whatever. I was like almost done looking, and then I was looking at other stuff. This was many years ago, and I looked it up. I'm like, oh, this thing sells for 40. I got like super lucky just to grab a random thing. But yeah, never saw this TV show. I think Anna likes a lot. I don't like horror stuff because I think about it too much after I watch like movies and stuff. We just recently did a movie night. We watched Gremlins, which is not horror enough to creep me out. I like Gremlins, and then we watched Alien Covenant from 2017. So yeah, I've been thinking about aliens, but I always like the alien stuff. Sorry, side tangent. But yeah, this particular bookmark ended up going for $7.08, so I didn't even take an offer on this one. So yeah, I mean, I find this stuff cheap, so it's okay. People eventually pick it up. All right. Next up is going to be a combo order. These are Advanced Squad Leader mounted cardboard maps. They're going to have these specific numbers up here. The earlier in the numbers, the earlier in the game, like the core boxes they are in. And then they also have modules, which are all these expansions. They'll have different scenarios to play this miniature game. They need to like find the correct numbers, and then you match them up. They can also like fold out, and then sometimes you use it half folded. So like I said, these are modular, meaning you can just like put them together to make certain scenarios. There's also a bunch of fan scenarios that recreate battles and stuff. So do pretty well selling these particular Advanced Squad Leader boards. I got a bunch of them. I think I listed all of the ones that I have. So they paid at 2 separate times. So it's $26 plus 61, so 87. So they also got this batch right here, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There was a website I found that actually lets you know which boards come in what Advanced Squad Leader expansion, but I just kind of do them in order, and people usually just pick them up anyway. So I've done it both ways. One time I'll put like up here in the title like what specific expansion module it comes from, and then other times I'll just do like a batch in a row, and sometimes it will just be whatever numbers I had at the time. All right, and then they got 12, 13, 14, 16, so they got a bunch of these. They asked if we do combined shipping. We do, so we're going to go ahead and I let them know that we're going to send that to all the excess shipping after we print out the label today and get it going. All right, next up is going to be a lot of these 9 Muscle Machine cards. I think these just come in like the actual like toy, you know, sometimes you buy toys or X-Men figures and stuff, they'll have little cards and stuff. I didn't know if these would sell at the time. I got a bunch of diecast cards from the person that flipped storage units to like the police diecast cards. I think that was from this, and then these were just kind of like there, and I'm like, oh, I'll just list 9, maybe someone wants these. They end up going for $6, so not too fancy, but I wasn't going to throw them away, but I was like, is someone going to buy these? We'll find out, and I was correct. Someone picked them up. People collect everything. All right. Next up is going to be this Twin Towers. This is going to be a rare card for a game called Super Deck. I've never played it, so I think it's a dead card game, so I got it a little collection. Never saw it before. I just take pictures of all the corners because I know people pay attention to that kind of stuff. This is probably extra for most card game sellers. They probably just do front and back and condition, which is probably the correct way. I just like taking pictures and I try my best. I'm not like I don't have a lot of cards. I have like a good amount, and normally I don't do singles, but I looked this up. Look, it's from 1994. It was a rare. I have another one, so I already relisted it. It's going to be my last one. End up getting, let's see, $15.39, so they did not even send an offer. They just took like the sale that price that we had. All right. Next up is going to be Doofus Crossmaster. This is going to be, I misspelled that. It's supposed to be Season 2 Kilby figure. So this is like an interesting like board game collectible video game, I think. I'm not too sure if these like scan into a video game. I know there's definitely a video game for Crossmaster, but sometimes they would come in these random boxes. They had different seasons and leagues. They also had like full-on kits where you can just buy like a starter set of like 5 figures. Never really played it. I never really saw them sell for a lot. So whenever I find them, I have to get them pretty cheap. Like this one sold for $10.49, and that's about what I would expect for a Crossmaster. There's a lot of them, so I'm not sure if I've just never gotten the rare or expensive ones. But yeah, there is a niche fan base that likes this, but I feel like they don't pay up for some of their stuff. That's about all I'm gonna say. I always see it just sell for cheaper, even though this is like, I think it's a dead collectible board game, miniature game. They might still have like a video game. I'm pretty sure there's a video game for that. All right. Moving on, we have a combo order. This was 2 Seventh Continent board game expansions. So I got a Seventh Continent base game with a different base game. Sometimes board games will have like a different version of a base game. It'll be like an expansion if you want to add the stuff, or it's a base game if you just want to play the expansion on its own. And then I got like 10 or so of these smaller modular expansions. Look at this. It's just like it adds a bunch of cards right here to your game. Some more stuff to explore in this continent. This board game was pretty decent. We still have the base game, and Ned and I, sorry, I got ahead of myself. I bought this auction lot and I paid the price. I think it was like $50 because I knew that the base game was going to sell for 50, and maybe that extra base game expansion, the white box, was going to sell for 30 after fees. I was probably going to get back to 50, and I knew all these expansions were going to be like what was actually going to make me money in the long run. So they got 2 of these expansions. I sold most of them. Like I said, these just add extra stuff. It's a board game where you're given a curse, and you the part of the game is you get to explore the whole continent as you're playing it if you want, but each curse is trying to direct you in a certain path, and you're trying to solve it, like solve a mystery. We played a bunch of this game. We never actually like finished and solved like a particular curse, but like I said, this adds extra stuff to the game, like extra cards. It's really card based, so you flip these over. They have different like areas and stuff. So I think like the fog, and there's like skill checks, and you pick a character. So there's this expansion, Path of Repentance, and then we also have Fear the Devourers. This one has some miniatures right here. We didn't use any of these expansions. We didn't have them at the time. So I know people like this game a lot. It is a pretty decent one. I think we could explore it more later on when we have time to play more of it. And then I thought it was a pretty decent one. It's going international, so I had to do a new listing for this person. $26.24 for both of them together. All right, moving along, we have Kamigami Battles Randomizer Deck Sealed. I've never played this board game, and I don't recognize it. It must have been just some like promo little packet I got. Randomizer decks usually help you like randomize whatever board game you're playing. So yep, whatever this one is, this ended up going for $8. That one I guess stumps me right now off the top of my head, but people do like board game expansions, little modular packets. They'll pick up anything to complete their game. All right, Moving along, we have an empty box, Magic the Gathering Core 2021. If this obviously had the packs or cards, it'd be worth a lot more, but people still use this for storage. It has like the logo right here. It can house a bunch of cards. Yeah, people like this one. Sometimes some of these have like a little intent over here like that. They have to put like a cardboard in there on the top or the bottom of the top lid, or sometimes just having like decks and cards in there levels it out. So I'll have an issue with that from like a buyer once in a while. They should know that some of these basically the company sometimes designs this bottom part in a weird way. That's just how sometimes they come. $13.99. All right. Next up is going to be this QRF. This is going to be like a metal World War II miniature, I believe. Mave 9. I don't know if this is actually the name of the tank, or sometimes these miniature companies will give a retailer like a sell sheet with the SKU, and then this will be the SKU number. But yeah, I just put like medium armored infantry vehicle. I actually think at some point I did find a way to identify these, but when I listed this one, I did not. So this would have been better if I actually had like the name of this particular vehicle. So we got that right there. Try to take as many pictures. But yeah, this ended up going for $12.76 to a repeat buyer. They were probably the ones that bought some of these yesterday. Honestly, too late to get the combined shipping at this point now. All right. Moving along, we have 40 of these SCS monsters and aliens. They're just like, I put like RPG board game plastic miniatures. They're kind of generic looking. If you can kind of see these, they're not like low detail, but they're not I don't know, yeah, they're just like more generic, I guess. Yeah, I think these are just like in a cheaper bag of toys and stuff, kind of like not necessarily at a dollar store, but I think a couple other people had these listed really cheap, not too many people, so maybe I could have waited and then priced mine a little bit higher, but I was like, nah, whatever, I'll just move them along. $10 for that. All right. Next up is going to be Dark Horse Comics or Extra Comics. I got a bunch of these. They were sitting behind me in my listing station for like a year or two at some point. I was like, I'm just going to list them all and move on. Oh, we got my cat trying to jump up here. This one's going to be issue number 48 from 2002. It's basically in brand new shape. Right here, it folds out, has like a big comic. It's only like a couple of pages. This ended up selling for $12, and then I had another one, so I already relisted. All right. Next up, we have this manga. I don't know how to say this one. Haikuyu, right here, number 33. It's a manga book. Gen Z likes manga, anime, millennials like it as well. I'm not sure about other generations, but it's been super popular. I know like there's been a lot of shows, movies, and the books, and a lot of people want to catch up on them. And it's a relatively cheap hobby. This ended up going for $13.99. That's probably more than what I get for some of these. Obviously, there's going to be some popular or rare ones that sell for more. Kind of like books. It's just really going to depend on the individual one. I'll get a bunch of these occasionally, like manga, anime stuff, and I always pick it up even if I don't know anything about the characters because I know people love it, and it's been popular, and it's getting more popular. $13.99 for that one, so not even an offer. All right, next up is going to be the CSN. These are like two little comic shop newsletters. This one has like a little crease in here. Not a big deal. It still opens up. You still get to read everything. So yeah, issue 677 and 682. These end up going for $14. I'll occasionally get comic stuff. Nothing. I never get like anything super fancy because the person knows their stuff. I just get the lower to the ground stuff for really cheap. All right. Next up is going to be Lego Ninjago. This is going to be like a little case right here. I think it's supposed to come with some more stuff. The stuff it's supposed to come with is not included, or else I think I would have gotten more for this. This one, I actually think I maybe lost money on, or if I broke even, it took space and time. So also lost, if I got the same dollar amount into the bank account, I still lost like, storage and all like the other numbers. If you want to break down everything into like the millicents and stuff like that, you could probably a loss in this one. But this was interesting because I went to pick up some food for Annetta many years ago. And then the place had done like the, oops, we forgot to start your order. So I had to wait like an hour, but they were right next door to a Savers. So instead of being like butthurt, I'm like, I should just spend my time. I should go into the Savers and see if I can find a bunch of stuff and like pay for the food. My goal was just like to pay for her like meal, 15 or 20 bucks, after cost and everything. And I did get like 6 to 8 things. This is, I think, the last thing. So I did end up making probably like 80 or 100 bucks. So I paid for her meal while waiting for her. Picking up her meal, so I thought that was cool. It's just a fun thing to do. I was like, maybe I'll find nothing. You never really know with like thrift stores. You got to find the right time, right place. It's random stuff. It depends on if good stuff got dropped off recently. If there's a lot of other people buying from like specific thrift stores, you have to just get right time, right price, right person, get lucky. I got lucky with some stuff, but this only sold for $7.65. But people do love the Lego Ninjago. I was probably way older when the Ninjago stuff came out, but I'm sure if I was a kid, I would have liked it. I like the Fantasy Castle stuff, the pirate stuff as well, but I think everyone likes that stuff now at this point. All right, moving along, we have the Munchkin collectible card game. This is going to be Munchkin's actual card game, collectible meaning like you've seen me sell the stuff that's part of the board game, and they have a lot of modular cards and promos that you see me sell all the time. Hello. And then this was them trying to make like a Magic the Gathering game where you get rares and then you can actually play like a game, a dueling game, 1v1. This is a Wizard and Bard deck. I think this one kind of fell flat because this stuff sells relatively cheap. I think I sold like a booster box full of cards for like 24 bucks or something on the, I don't know if we were recording yet on the channel. Oh no, I have a sneeze coming. All right. But this particular deck sold for $7.87, so someone's going to pick it up. It's a starter deck you can learn to play for 2 players. They also have like rarities on these cards. But yeah, I think this didn't do too well, in my opinion. I haven't seen any of this stuff sell for a lot. All right, last item for the day, super old listing. You can actually see like the little white table I had there. This was, I think, when I was in listing in like a basement at my parents' place. So yeah, super old listing. I would probably do this differently these days now, like how I would like picture and list these. But yeah, all these cards, Corvette cards. People like cars. I don't know too much about cars, but yeah, $12.59 for this. That's everything. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to help support us, take a look at our links down below. Have a good weekend.